Welcome on a Tuesday. What the hell's going on? Welcome on a Tuesday night. Indie Escape Network presents Loud and Nerdy. Look at you with your stormtrooper gear, and look at you with like a young lady with you, your daughter Emily. Does he embarrass you all the time? Does he embarrass you all the time like this,
Every
Emily?
day.
Every day. Well, my name is JW Colwell. I'm joined, as always, by Jerry embarrassing his daughter Kamora every day.
That's why God made dads.
Welcome to Loud and Nerdy on a Tuesday night. I'm expecting more people here. We definitely have one in the green room. I'm expecting Joe later, maybe. I don't know. We'll get to whatever we're doing. Emily, good to have you. It's always good to have a young demographic on the show. It ages us down considerably. Like we add all three up, where our average would be lower because of her, which is
or
nice.
It makes us feel older, one or the other.
What makes you feel old? I feel fine. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm just gonna bounce along. Let's see. Good evening, friends. Good evening, Ken McKernan. Hope you're feeling better. Glad you are. Good evening, Joe. Good evening, all. The Grand Poobah. I'm sure he's gonna show up later because we have a big show coming up on the network this week. Big premiere episode coming up. Let's talk. Let's talk stuff. I don't know what I want to talk about first. I think we're going to let's talk about movie business. Emily, did you go to see this Taylor Swift thing this weekend?
Oh, no.
Yeah, but you did go to see the last Taylor Swift thing.
I did. I went for my friend, but...
Yeah, okay. So, but you didn't go to this one. That shows it.
He's not
only,
a Swiftie.
Not a Swiftie.
Jerry, it only grossed $34 million in 3 days. And I say that only with like an incredible grain of salt, but 34 million. So it's interesting.
I wish I could gross that in 3 days.
In 3 days. Well, the interesting thing is everybody thought that September and October were going to be very bleak for the movie business. But with this and the Demon Slayer movie that came out, the anime movie that grossed $100 million, everything is looking up. Now, not everything is looking up, but I will say this movie in its second week, One Battle After Another, which is fantastic, one of the best movies of the year. Everybody should see it. It's great. It's genius. Got one of the best car chases I've ever seen in my life. That movie only dropped, and we talk about this, only dropped 50% in the second week. So it went from it grossed 11 million this weekend. It's up to a total gross of 42. It's a huge budgeted movie, but after 2 weeks, it's at $103 million worldwide. The budget's about 150. So, you technically you want to get to about 200-300 million to get some sort of like, this was worth it. But I do think it's going to be around for Oscar time, so we don't have to worry about that shit. So that's kind of cool. But the movie that did not do well this weekend, and it has to be talked about, The Smashing Machine with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and Emily Blunt, about the life of Mark Kerr, UFC legend Mark Kerr. This movie,
I saw previews for this like on TikTok.
Yeah,
and it was just like
I saw it.
It looked ridiculous to me. It
grows
like some of the other wrestlers, like with the fake blonde wigs on and stuff.
Yeah,
it almost reminded me of like the dudes from South Park doing a movie.
He's playing a very specific person who, depending on who he's talked to, is either one of the founding members of the UFC or one of the people that got it going. But and everybody's been talking about the performance. Great performance from Dwayne Johnson. It's clearly Oscar bait. It's clearly whatever. It only grossed $6 million though, and it costs.
I thought he was playing himself.
No, he's playing a UFC guy. Now here's the thing. Those movies sometimes we get, Jerry, where it's a really good performance where somebody like goes out of their comfort zone and they give a performance, and then you look around and the movie they're in sucks. That's kind of what this is. Like the rest of the movie, it's weird. It's a sports movie, but it's not a sports movie. Like none of like the big fights in the movie that happen are exciting, or like they're not staged that way. It's staged a little bit like it's directed by Benny Safdie, who with his brother Josh had done Uncut Gems. So it's kind of like played as like an indie movie.
So you
And
mean everything still pales in comparison to the They Live fight scene? Is that what you're saying?
well, no matter what fight scene you have, it's going to pale in comparison to Roddy Piper and Keith David suplexing each other on cardboard boxes.
Put them on.
Nothing's going to beat that fight. I don't know. I don't think that fight's ever been taught. Like the other fight, the only fights that kind of like some of the Rocky fights, like second Clubber fight is a great fight, and a movie fight. The Drago Rocky fight on Christmas Day in Russia, pretty good. That's coming back to theaters in November.
As far as the street fight goes.
But this movie, like it just sits there. Like it's a great performance. Like I don't want to like. I'm glad he's going out of his element. It's also the lowest box office totals of his career. He's never had a bomb like this. And it just kind of sits there. It has no momentum. It doesn't really move. It's completely like just the fight staging is boring. Like Emily Blunt plays like his crazy girlfriend, and that's like right out of like Central Casting. Like I know it's real life, but based on a true story, but like, yeah, you've already seen the crazy girlfriend bit, right? Who kind of likes the guy for his money, and like we've seen it 100 times before and better. Blunt and Johnson have chemistry. They were decent in Jungle Cruise, right? Where they kind of spark. So now she's like showing up in some of his movies, but it's just like I found it to be dreadfully boring. And I was disappointed with it, and also kind of just like sitting there. Now, I did see another movie this week, Jerry, that opened to $2.3 million over the weekend that I wasn't bored with, that I'm kind of not enamored with, but impressed by it in no uncertain. There's a movie called Good Boy. It's going to also come up in my 31 for 31 because I'm doing old, new.
I read your post.
This is an hour and 13-minute movie. It's essentially a demon possession movie in a haunted house where the main character is the dog. And the only people that see anything are the dog and the audience. So you're rooting for the little guy. And he's a golden retriever, and you pray that the rules that you and I used to follow pretty well with no dead kids or no dead dogs. Right? Those are the rules. No dead animals, no dead kids.
Yep.
Although this generation of movie creators doesn't really give a shit about any of that. Because I saw another movie in the 31 we're going to talk about in a little while where kids were open game. Like, didn't matter. Like, full on dead kids everywhere. Which was kind of shocking, but also, like, I don't know. I like the kid thing. I like would be like Halloween. Like I liked that one little African American child in the new Halloween reboot where he saw him and just left. I'll see you later, buddy. You look big and dangerous. I'm going the other direction. I'm getting out of here, right? And then everybody else gets murdered in the house. And I was like, okay, because the kid escaped. But some of these movies don't care. But Good Boy. It is a wonderful movie. It's only an hour and 13 minutes. If you go to the theater to see it, or I think they'll put it when it comes out on streaming, the director gives you how basically it comes across as the greatest animal performance in film history. But in reality, all of the emotions that are being put on the animal are us as we're watching it. So if we see something in the background and they cut to the dog and the dog's looking in the background, what the dog is looking at, he doesn't know he's in a movie. So it's usually just somebody like, I think the director who owns the dog, whose name is Indy, basically had like a little duck, his little chew duck.
Oh, to try
to get him to move his head or whatever. But the performance, Jerry, when you watch the movie, like you don't know the trick. So you're like, how the fuck are they getting this dog to do this stuff? Right? And then you watch it and like the movie is scary. It's legit scary. It's like about a guy who I think has cancer, and he basically goes to his grandfather's farm in the middle of nowhere because he's sick, and he doesn't believe that his grandfather died of like, because his grandfather tells him all the time the house is haunted. And it's like generations of family underneath the house and all kinds of stuff. So like the house is legit haunted, and he's like, I don't care. And the dog's kind of looking at him like, I care. I don't want to go to this house.
I do.
I care. You're not going to be running around trying to save your hide.
Well, now we'll see, depending on how this does, we'll see how many other movies kind of like that start coming out.
Well, I'm
animal
going
perspective.
to tell you right now, he's going to be at the Oscars in some capacity. Like, I could easily see him on the Oscars or like a tie. You know what I mean? He's a great dog. Like, he's a fantastic dog. Like, it's a really great performance. And it's one of those things where you look at it and you go, I looked at it and went, it could be the greatest animal performance of all time. And then they give away the trick. And even though they give away the trick, Jerry, I would still say it's one of the greatest animal performances I've ever seen. I was going through it in my head. You know, like sometimes you go to see a movie and you come out of the movie and you're like going through your head like, well, what's a good animal performance? It's not Disney. Like Rin Tin Tin, Lassie.
Monkey Shines.
The Black Stallion. Like I was going through all the movies in my head.
Yeah.
Like trying to come up with
Homeward Bound.
Homeward Bound. Like, yeah. But all those, like I was thinking about, a lot of those movies are computer generated. Like they put the smiles on the cat's faces, or they, you know what I mean? They tweak with stuff. There is no tweaking whatsoever in Good Boy. It's all a natural performance. The kid's a star. You know what I mean? Like he's a star.
Even Cujo, like some moments were good with the dog, other ones it's a guy in a costume.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's so hit or miss, right? Where you're like, I don't know if it's going to work or not. But in this particular case, this movie is great. I can't talk about it enough. I'm doing the 31 for 31, but we're going to do something first. We didn't do Generation Movie last night because my good friend Rich Drees, who I do Generation Movie with, went to see a new movie, and we're going to get a quick early review. Let's bring Rich Drees in. Rich Drees, World,
hey.
Rich Drees. Rich, Greetings, programs. I'm hearing you visited the grid or the real world, or the grid in the real world, or the real world in the grid. So tell me, Rich, no spoilers, because people on our show get angry about spoilers.
Oh no, I've been thinking about how to talk about this without spoilers, and
what's the gist?
Kind of disappointed actually with this. I'm old enough to have seen Tron, the original Tron, in the movie theaters when I was in junior high.
West Side Theater, Scranton, Pennsylvania, was where Tron played. I know because I went there to see it.
The Harrisburg East Mall cinemas is where I saw it.
How old were you? I was at 8.
I was it was, I think it was between 6th and 7th grade, so 11, 12, somewhere in there.
Okay.
I was 7.
A billion years ago.
I think the thing about the first Tron movie, state of the art, interesting concept, cool, neat things before we got into computers. What's going on in this one, Rich? Now that I have a ticket on Thursday, I'm disappointed
the
already.
first movie took us into this mysterious world that the general public didn't really understand. So you could get away with the fantasy of the conceit.
Yeah, it can be
the
programs.
Second movie kind of dealt with it a little bit more. The third movie has an interesting Pinocchio / Frankenstein conceit with a dash of Darkman, and I'm not going to say what that dash is. You'll find out if you go see it.
Darkman? Oh, Darkman. I thought you were. You know what I thought you were saying? I thought you were saying Automan.
No.
Well,
yes, you could maybe toss in a dash of the classic and satirical air quotes.
Emily, that's dating me.
1980s TV series Automan.
a silly show, but a good
with-
show. A show I watched.
And this one, I mean, it has an interesting story. I just don't think it digs deep into its, core theme and of AI and how it is going to interact in the real world. There's some like I said, there's some interesting story ideas, but there's nothing really developed thematically, and that kind of bothered me. I mean, I saw it at the King of Prussia IMAX, so if you do want to go see it on a big screen, man. It's fun. It's a beautiful film. The visuals are astounding, especially once they get down into the grid and come back out of the grid and come back down to the grid. There's some really neat things there.
I heard there's no ties to the second movie at all. Like they're minor ties, but the second movie.
There's a montage in the beginning that kind of sets up who to remind you that Flynn, Kevin Flynn disappeared years ago. His son took over NCOM, but then resigned suddenly. And then these two other people came in. And meanwhile, you've still got the Dillinger Corporation over here doing their nonsense. It's an exposition dump. It's done as eloquently.
We had another movie.
Yeah, but
it's done as eloquently as possible. And I will say there may be one or two other references to Sam and Cora. But to get into it any further would be spoilery, and I'm not going to do that.
Okay, I don't want to do any spoilers, but
no,
that movie kind of ended on a very big, kind of cliffhanger slash complete change of franchise, right?
Yeah,
and so this doesn't. Is what you're telling me. You're kind of giving me the idea that it's like
there are some thematic ideas that it picks up from the second movie, but again, doesn't do anything with them really. It just kind of maintains that kind of a bit of a status quo. I don't see how this. There is a little bit of how this does advance things forward in terms of like some kind of overall story. There's a couple of things at the end that are like literally world changing. That I expect to be promptly ignored if this movie gets a sequel. And honestly, I'm not sure, man.
Well, here's the thing. Like I've heard a couple things already where I went, okay, well, we're in trouble. So that's my Flynn's keychain.
Nice.
Yeah, my Tron keychain.
Oh, Flynn's Arcade.
Yeah, Flynn's Arcade. I've heard.
Oh, hey, Ken. Hi, Joe.
I've heard. Let's see. I'm sorry. Let's get comments. Not coming on.
I came back today just so I could say hi to you guys.
I won't be the youngest one on stage. Shut up. You can't be. Emily's on stage.
Yeah.
You can't be the youngest, Joe. Emily's watching the show from the couch. Benji's a good performance. We're talking about kid. I saw Good Boy, Rich. I thoroughly loved it because I like horror movies. Hi, Rich. Jared Leto sucks. And
he's serviceable in this movie.
Okay, so one of the things I have
he doesn't get really wonky about anything. So
I want a percentage, Rich, because I read something where I was a little bit disturbed. What's the percentage inside the grid where the Tron movies make their money?
Also costs the most too.
Yes, but it's what sets it apart. Like, I like the original Tron. I love the original Tron. It's got a great Jeff Bridges performance. The second Tron has a good Jeff Bridges performance, and then a pretty good Garrett Hedlund performance. And then interesting side notes and all kinds of like Matrix-y type stuff, like Merovingian type things going on.
Yeah,
like Michael Sheen's character.
This one, for story reasons, is a little bit more concerned about what's going on outside in the real world. There's a lot of business espionage going on back and forth between NCOM and the Dillinger people.
Dillinger, of course, if you don't know, they're the bad guys from the original movie, right? They're the guys.
Yeah,
they're the bad guys.
Gillian Anderson plays his daughter, and her son is in charge of the company now. There's a pair of sisters took over NCOM, and one died, and that's kind of like the character motivation for the other sister to.
So
do the
Ugh.
thing she's trying to do. And oh gosh, I'm suddenly blanking on the actress's name, but she's really good in this. I think
Lee, I
there's
think her
some good
name is Lee,
performances.
right? Is it Kim Lee?
Yeah.
No, she
Kim
was in
Lee,
past
yeah.
song. She was in Past Lives, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm hearing good things about her.
Hassan
hearing
Minaj is fine.
9 Inch Nails good. Soundtrack good.
The soundtrack's good. Soundtrack's really good. Again, if you want your insides wobbled around for a bit, go see it in IMAX. Because man, that's
Screamy, whiny, wobbly.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to get too into it until I see it on Thursday, but I don't know.
yeah. I will say,
Go ahead. What's your?
I have doubts we're going to get another sequel, or at least a direct sequel, simply because 3 weeks ago this movie was tracking to open to 44 million, and I think the budget's somewhere around 200, and that doesn't sound good to me. And honestly, I think with the middling reviews, I will be surprised if this thing opens above 30.
Well, the other problem with it, Rich, is that it's a franchise that Disney kind of takes care of but doesn't take care of, right? It's a franchise that has its own ride at Disney World, but also didn't have its own ride at Disney World almost 40 years after the fact, right, of the original movie. So it's like we care about the franchise, but we don't understand it. So whatever. And then they make the sequel, and Legacy, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think Legacy is a pretty good movie for a movie that's a Legacy sequel 40 years after the fact, right?
Yeah.
And now we're taking it seriously again, and it's like, but if you're telling me everything takes place outside of the grid, the most exciting parts of the movie are inside the grid. But the grid is where it's at.
Do you know the basic premise though?
I know the premise is that it's I guess I'm gonna guess. I don't know. I haven't read anything. Here's what I'm gonna guess. I would guess that the kid from American Horror Story, can't think of his name. The kid from American Horror Story is in charge of some sort of AI project where he brings the AI. It's essentially NCOM technology with AI technology built on top of it. And his plan is to bring AI soldiers that can come into the real world and be used and kind of just discarded just from the trailers. And one or two of them doesn't like that or develop some sort of we get a Terminator like I don't want to kill things.
That's why I said Pinocchio versus Frankenstein, depending on the viewpoint of the character looking at the Jared Leto character.
That would be my guess. I don't know what's happening with, like, on first looks, Miss Lee, the Asian actress, looks to be some sort of cop, but
no.
What you're telling me is she's the head of NCOM.
She's the head of NCOM. Yeah.
I would imagine that eventually everything spills out into the real world, which is why we're getting dog fights over, wherever it is. LA? Is it LA?
I think it's San Diego, technically.
Okay.
Where
dog fights over whatever city
wherever Flynn's Arcade is located in the franchise, because we see Flynn's Arcade at one point.
Do we get Flynn's Arcade at one point at least?
It's still closed up and still covered with all plastics and stuff. It's not an active business. But
I would also assume we don't get a lot
way.
of Jeff Bridges. We don't get a lot of Jeff Bridges. It's just bare
one
minimum.
scene. It's pivotal and worthwhile.
Well, anything he's in is worthwhile.
Yeah,
worthwhile for a long time. Like I'll go last picture show.
Not Tron without him.
But okay. So I'm gonna temper expectations.
Yeah, temper your expectations. It's a fun time. It's not a deep time. I wish it had been a little bit deeper. I wish it had a little bit more substance to it. But if you're gonna see it, if you're resigned
bigger, louder,
see it,
faster.
See it, yeah.
Go
see it on
bigger.
as much the screen as you can.
What was that?
Did you ever find the Tron helmet at Disney?
Yes.
I searched everywhere. This one, I don't know if she'd remember, but I wanted to find something old. Everything was all new.
Yeah.
I wanted that one thing, and I found that one helmet in the little glass case. I took a picture of it.
It was too well. The thing about, like I said, I feel like it's a franchise that Disney has but doesn't appreciate.
Like the
Doesn't-
black hole.
Yeah, and the Black Hole's another one.
Where's that?
The
Something
Black
wicked
Hole.
It
is
was
Somebody
going to be a
reminded me.
remake, but
That's funny. Somebody reminded me that the Black Hole's ending is probably the most disturbing, horrific ending in the history of kids movies, PG kids
it's
movies.
it's absolutely wonderful. It'll
Yeah,
fuck kids
yeah,
up.
Maximilian.
I use that word in a sentence.
Well, yeah, but
The
idea that the robot and the guy fuses and they end up in some sort of volcano hellscape. Yeah, I guess.
Amazing.
Everybody else makes it out. Maybe they
there
have it.
is-
I don't know.
Again, oh, and there is a mid-credits scene in Tron Ares that is
Hoping for a.
it is definitely a setup for
See, now they did do
a hope for sequel, but I don't think you need it because there's something that happens in the climax of the movie that already tells you that's going to happen. It
the
feels
other,
almost like
I will say some of the other thing, like there's a Tron Uprising show that they made at like in between Tron and Tron Legacy that was on that Disney put, had a show. It was like an animated show. It was a good show. I watched it with I watched it with people in my life that like Tron, and it wasn't bad, but everyone's like they missed the mark. So disappointed. I wish it was better. Anyway, okay,
maybe
Rich.
you like it more than I did. I don't know.
No, you and I are pretty close on major things.
That's true.
No, and I have a funny feeling I'm going to be more disappointed about the concept that we're not like. I'm going to want to see more light cycles, and I'm going to get the red light cycles and not the cool blue and yellow ones. But maybe I'll get like one or two blue or yellow ones. So it'll give me the nip of nostalgia, but not nearly what I need. I need the full shot of nostalgia if we're going to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
Where,
Games.
I'll give you an example. I need the
games.
What was that?
You need the games.
I need the games. Tron is one of the greatest arcade games ever put out. That game is awesome. The arcade game for Tron that was in where you played the different games like within the
stand-up booth.
Yeah. Oh my God, such a good game. But yeah, I just need, I don't know. Okay, you've ruined my week, Rich.
Yay!
Yay! It's been a shitty week, and you have.
I'm sorry, my friend. You
scraped
you know
my nostalgia, my nostalgia
Not doing
fix
it
right
to
in the
ruin your
trash. No, you know what? It'll be fine. Well, actually, you know what I'm doing though. I was gonna talk about this a little bit on Generation Movie, but I can talk about it a little bit now. What I am doing, the two things I'm doing with my 31 for 31, I'm taking from an old list and from a new list.
Okay.
So I am filling in all of the things I've ever missed on a greatest 100 movies chart.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am filling in whatever new stuff I find in front of me, like Good Boy, or I hadn't seen Bring Her Back. I finally got to see that. It was on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also I've kind of peppered it with, I did Night of the Reaper, which is a Shudder movie. Then I did Audition, which I had never seen. And holy shit, Audition's just brutal. And then I did VHS Halloween, but I've never seen any of the VHS movies. So I'm now going to have to go back eventually to get to those. Fun little anthology movies they started making about 7 years ago. Then I did The Legend of Hell House, right? So I did Night of the Reaper first, and then I did Audition, which, again, nobody can prepare for.
Takeshi Miike has a new film out that's actually going to be playing at the Philadelphia Film Festival in a couple weeks.
Yeah, but nobody can prepare you in life for the last 20 minutes of this movie.
Oh, true.
Nobody can prepare you in life at all.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready. It told me to be ready, and then I wasn't ready. VHS Halloween, which I kind of enjoyed. Again, a lot of kid murders though. Legend of Hell House, Roddy McDowell.
Old school.
Lots of fun. Then Bring Her Back, and then I did this. I'd never seen this.
Was interesting.
I did Black Sunday, Bava Black Sunday. I did two posters because I like them both.
Steel.
Oh yeah, Barbara Steele, good stuff.
Mhm.
And then I did Good Boy. So, and I've already got my movie for tomorrow. Kind of, I'm usually like one in the chamber, ready to go. So, the one in the chamber is Don't Look Now. I've never seen Don't Look Now. So, I'm
Oh,
going
that's
back
the
to
Donald Sutherland movie.
Donald Sutherland and
Yeah, yeah.
Julie Christie. Whoo!
Yeah.
Julie Christie in the 70s. My goodness, Emily, you should leave. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, Julie Christie in the 70s. My God. But anyway, Rich, thank you for joining us. You have a good night.
Hey, no problem.
Any other screenings
Good to see
coming
you,
up?
Not for me, really. I'm gonna be at the New York
Comic-Con for the weekend. New York
in
Comic-Con
for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. There's nothing really that's interesting me
And you
sticking
will be
around on
with
Sunday.
me-
Although they
Yeah.
are doing it, they are redoing or doing a new version of last year's Saturday Night Live makeup panel with Sarah Sherman and the head of the makeup department from Saturday Night Live. Last year was really cool. They brought in a bunch of really fun, funky examples. So I would recommend that panel.
You might do that. But I will see you Monday. Monday we start our Halloween portion of the viewing year. We'll be doing 3 movies from 1985, 40th anniversary movies. 1 vampire, 1 werewolf, 1 zombie movie. That's all the hints I'm giving right now. So I'll see you Monday for Generation Movie. Thank you, Rich. Bye.
No problem. Have a great weekend, folks.
Thanks for ruining everything, Rich. Bye.
You're welcome.
Don't be disappointed. Wait till you see it. You'll be all right.
He's now disappointed.
I am disappointed. That is the truth, Emily. I am so disappointed. You know what though? Here's what I'm gonna do. When I watch it on Thursday, no matter what happens, I'm gonna blame Jared Leto.
There you go.
It's a safe way to go. It's a safe
easy.
bet that he has screwed something up.
Yeah. It's a vibe. The whole vibe was off.
Now he's gonna ruin Tron. Excellent. Great. Just great. How about this news? This guy is getting his star on the Walk of Fame.
Aww.
Robert Englund is getting his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame October 31st, Halloween Day.
Good time
Also,
for it.
he made some big news when he said, I can't do him live action anymore, but if somebody wanted to do an animated Nightmare on Elm Street,
The voice.
I'd do the voice.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
And the answer there is, yeah, let's
That's
do that.
halfway there, though, right? The voice. I mean, he made the voice iconic
Well,
too.
I think
just
he
with Eric.
like all these other things that are like. Don't get me wrong; they're very good performances. You know, very good Michael Myers performances, very good Jason performances. But of all the things, he cannot be. The guy in the picture can't be replaced, right?
Right.
Whatever energy he brings, no matter what Nightmare on Elm Street movie it is, like even the clunkers, right? Even the ones that are junky.
Yeah, he made them good.
He makes them better.
Yeah.
And then then you get like a real actor in the role, and you see what happens. The kid from Watchmen goes in, he does the Nightmare on Elm Street, and his Freddy is bogged down by being a gross child molester / murderer, which isn't great. It's not a great way to bulk the character down. Let's just make him a kid murderer. It's easier. And then
But also Robert Englund made that character has personality, right?
yes, and he's the only one who can do it.
That
So
can't be
it's
captured by anybody else.
I told you, if
no
you're
matter how
the
good
only
Jack
actor-
Haley is.
Yeah,
It
and
was
then
kinda
the choices they make for the characters are sometimes problematic. Same thing happens to Superman. You weigh the character down too much by giving too much backstory, and then all of a sudden it's like it's not what I want to see. But Robert Englund, irreplaceable, right? I mean, everybody else, like I guess Kane Hodder is Jason, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, because that's a pretty great Jason.
But again, Jason doesn't talk either. Doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Same with Michael Myers. I mean,
Wait,
you
what's
can almost
Emily
throw
saying?
most
Emily's
people
like
in
shaking her
the
head. No, what? Not Kane Hodder? What?
She doesn't know.
She's like,
She knows who Jason is, but
Yeah. Like, I think they should just keep the same people.
well, you can't.
But they
because people
can't.
get older.
yeah, we're old.
It's contracts. It's people get older.
Yeah, money.
People.
Things happen. But like Freddy, Freddy's hard to replace. Like again,
Right.
the only person I told you my pick. If they're trying to do a new one, the only one that comes across that has the same amount of menace and glee would be Kevin Bacon. I think Kevin Bacon could pull it off, where he looks decent. He can be scruffy, but he's also kind of like funny. He's the only one that comes across. Okay, what else? You know what I mean? We also have this happening, Monster on Netflix. A lot of buzz. It's the number one show on Netflix and streaming. Charlie Hunnam getting a lot of praise for his Ed Gein performance.
He's
Gein,
a serial killer.
he's arguably he's also a serial killer that made essentially has been making movies about him for years, right?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Silence
TCM, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but also Psycho.
Book.
Also Psycho, also Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, also like they're all based on Ed Gein to some extent. What else? Let's talk. So Tron opens this weekend. Cool.
Been trying to keep up on my 31 for 31.
How are you doing? I'm
doing all right.
Hold on, I'm gonna go to your page. Hold on.
It's on Loud Nerdy.
It's on Loud Nerdy. Okay, I can find that. Hold on.
I've got like
maybe I can find that. I don't know.
It's a Loud Nerdy group page.
You know how bad I am with.
But
computers.
I did the new Toxic Avenger.
Okay, how was it?
The one with Dinklage. It was okay. It was all right.
I think that's another thing. Like Trauma's in its own little.
They tried to make it like I put in the synopsis there. Like they try to make it a little bit like Trauma-ish. It's got some of that quirkiness about it.
But it's got so much class in it. How could it possibly be Trauma-ish if it's got like an actor that won an Emmy? You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
but he's actually not the Toxic Avenger. He's in it, but then he's the voice of the Toxic Avenger. There's a woman that actually plays that role, and she does a great job with it too. But it was okay. I did that. I did Snow Falls, which is like these kids in a cabin. There's a snowstorm that hits. They start to go nuts, but there's like hardly any snow on the ground, so it's not very good. Nefarious was good. I like that. And then what else did I do?
So what's Nefarious about? What's that?
Nefarious is about this. I can't remember the actor's name, but he's in prison for like murders. He committed a bunch of murders, and a psychiatrist has to go in and determine whether he's sane or not because he's on death row. And he tells the doctor that he is. It's not nefarious. It's Nefertitious or something like that. He's a demon, in other words, that possessed this guy. So he's trying to convince the psychiatrist, I'm really a demon, and will you let me enter you to prove it? And it's mostly dialogue, the movie.
Clear, that sounds like a bad idea.
It's great dialogue, though, through this movie. Like, it's almost like Exorcist 3, you know how there's a lot of dialogue in that?
The most interesting thing about horror films, the thing I've learned in my 51 years on the planet, Jerry, is if we don't have dumb people, we don't have horror films. People have to be so stupid. I'm going to go into a room. There's going to be a 6-foot tall guy with a machete in the corner. I'm not going to notice him. Also, I'm not going to turn a light on because why would I do that?
Right.
My grandfather died in this. I'm going to do good boy right now. My grandfather died in this house where all our ancestors are buried. I think I'm going to go live in that house.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm going to take my dog and make him go.
I got that one. I did Devil's Story, which is on Tubi. Oh, that was really bad. I mean, there's a sequence where there's a blonde woman and a gentleman. Their car breaks down. They end up getting chased by this like mutant Nazi. There's a cat that terrorizes the lady when it meows. There's a ghost horse. It's just a black horse, but it's a ghost horse. It's crazy.
God,
But
I
she
hate.
screams
What are
in
they
one
feeding that
scene for
thing?
like 5 minutes, and I had to turn the volume down because she just kept screaming. I don't know how she had lungs left, but I watched that,
Well,
and then I
like
watched Arbor Day.
I was trying
one.
Arbor Day. Like you can find a lot of stuff on Tubi. I found a new
Some of them
one.
are ridiculous.
Well, Don't Look Now. I had to go to Pluto TV, which is this other thing.
Yeah, that's a good one though.
But
Don't Look
well,
Now.
yeah, I'm in the middle of it right now, and it's just I don't know where it's headed, but it's not going to be good for the husband and wife. Like it's just going to be awful.
I'm not saying nothing.
Like I first off, anytime you put Donald Sutherland in a movie, I'm pretty much going to enjoy it. Like
Yeah,
he's
good,
one of
right?
those. He's good
one
in
that's
almost
good
everything.
just about everything.
Julie Christie is one of those actresses when you look at them from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, where you're just like, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Like a person so exquisite that you're like, okay, broke the mold on that one. That mold doesn't exist. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's creepy thus far. The kid in the red
Leaving.
plastic jacket. Bye, Emily.
Bye.
Kid in the red plastic. I really, you know what? Like I've liked everything I've watched thus far. This I think you'll like this because you like slashers. Night of the Reaper.
Yeah,
Had a good time. Had a good time with it. It's an 80s slasher set in the 80s, so it's kind of like it's got a double thing, but it does get wrapped up in itself towards the end.
Seems to be a lot of that because I think
Well,
they know like, they're trying to capture that.
Well, no, but it's
Right.
it's trying to break the mold, and it's like sometimes you don't need to break the mold. You just need to deliver the goods. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like slasher rules are there's usually a revenge component, right?
Right.
I think we're also I don't want to give anything away about any of the movies I watch, but I think we're also past the point of this point where we've gotten where it's more than one killer. I think I'm getting close to being like, you know, Scream did it and they did it the best. And since Scream, we've had other Scream movies that have done it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I just think we might be getting to the point where it's like, let's just have somebody that's really good and comes up with a plan on his own. And
well, I think they kind of hit that with Terrifier. Like they're pretty close to having like that's an icon.
Yeah, I was at Halloween Horror Nights. We didn't talk about
that level. And that's hard to do, right? Because there's the market's flooded with all of that kind of stuff.
And I think part of, I was trying to explain, like my friend we went to all the we didn't go to all the houses. We went to 7 out of 10. 3 of the houses we didn't get to were Jason Universe, Five Nights at Freddy's, and Terrifier because they were at 125 minutes all night. So we hit all the other houses like Fallout. There was one set in the north that was kind of fun. There was Hatchets and Chains, which was like it was from a drive-in movie thing that they had set up. That was like they did a drive-in movie terrifying thing a few years back, and then the movies that were playing at the drive-in have gotten their own houses, and Hatchet and Chains is one of them. We did Fallout, which I think was too early for Fallout, if that makes any sense. Like I think these IPs that they're getting immediately, they don't have any kind of like anything to back up like anything. So
you have to let it grow before you do something.
Right. One season of Fallout, you shouldn't have a Fallout house already. And then there was Dolls, which was kind of cool because basically you went in the house and everything was bigger than you. So you were essentially like a toy, which is kind of Toy Story-ish, but darker.
That's kind of neat.
No, it was kind of the best thing at Halloween Horror Nights. The absolute best thing, Jerry. So they have scare zones, okay? The scare zones were great this year. Like, not all of them, but Like one was like vampires at a masquerade ball. Nah, seen it. Another was like ravens and gargoyles. That was okay. Then there was a third one that was all set in the 1930s, where a rat poison company essentially poisoned the entire populace of the city. So it was all people dressed in like Knickerbocker outfits with like giant like thing, sores on their face and monsters running around. And it was green ooze. One of the buildings was oozing green. Like it was cool, right? And it was a cool concept. 1930s, and all the people were talking like flappers. Like it was hilarious. Like I thought it was so funny. Like, oh, look, a taxi. Like they were talking like they were in the 1930s.
You'll never get me, copper.
You'll never get me, copper. Like I thought I was enthused.
See?
But the best one was a made story for Halloween Horror Nights, and it's essentially right by Mel's Drive-In there, right? Mel's Die-In they did as well, where like they had people on roller skates that were zombies that were serving up like human remains, which was kind of cool. But the one area that goes from Mel's Drive-In there and the Halloween makeup show to Simpsons, right? That the scare zone there is the cat lady on Crooked Lane. Wasn't expecting much. Not afraid of cat ladies. But essentially, it's and the way they told it, it's like storybook pages, like kids' storybook pages. And basically, it's about this lady who lives on Crooked Lane, who has cats, and all the kids on Halloween night torture some of her cats. And the next Halloween, she gets her revenge by turning the kids into cats. So early portions are kids in various stages of transformation. Super cool. You're walking through them. They're trying to get candy, but they're also like being changed. Then you get to the end of it, and it's her house. So it's like a storybook house that they did a show at every 45 minutes or so, that basically had one of the kids being served up to the bigger grown cats. And these were performers in full cat outfits.
What was the lady like? There had to be a lady, right?
Yeah, the old lady was like an old like a witch from
like Pumpkinhead.
No, like more like a witch from a storybook, like Hansel and Gretel witch.
Oh, right on.
And she's like, bring one of the children. Like, come here, look, I planted that tree. Like, it was so cool, dude. And the cats were funny, and they all had different personalities. One looked like right out of Sleepwalkers. One of the cats was like no fur, and completely like Skinwalker from Sleepwalkers. And I was like, that's cool. I like that. You know what I mean? Like, it was different. I appreciated it, and I appreciated the story. I think you can have really good IP, right, at Halloween Horror Nights, but for me, like what the people who run Halloween Horror Nights come up with, like the best house I was in was one called El Artista, which was basically about a Spanish artist in mid 17th century Spain or 18th century Spain who goes mad, right? The house is haunted. He goes mad. They built a house inside one of the studios. So you go in and it's this full fucking house.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You know what
and
would be cool too? I just thought of this while you were talking. Like a waxwork one, like the movie.
Yeah. Well, I think
you step behind it, you end up in it.
Yeah. I think they do the IPs because people want to see IPs. Cool. And Terrifier is the big IP going. Like they had a whole one of the things they did this year also was food was all based on the things. The other one that was really good that I wanted to talk about really quick because I'm a WWE fan, the Bray Wyatt house, right? Wyatt 6. So there's a Bray Wyatt house. Bray Wyatt was a WWE wrestler. He passed away suddenly, tragically. He was kind of a genius in the stuff he came up with, were the very supernatural wrestling elements. And there's a whole house devoted to his shit. And it was like, I thought it was super cool. Like because he built these characters, and then it's really like, it's the funnest house if you're a WWE fan, but it's the hardest house to explain to somebody who's not a WWE fan. So,
Makes
but it was
sense.
a great house. And then the other one was like the grave eaters or grave flesh or flesh of the grave of the flesh, which was like aliens and that created like zombies. Coolest thing in that one was there was one part where you looked up and you were in an open grave, but you looked up and it was like 10 feet up. So it was like, this is what it would be like if you were in an open grave. Cool. And then the other one that was really cool was like I think it's called Galkin or something along those lines. Basically set like Norse, like kind of set in like Viking world, where somebody rose the wrong demon spirits in the winter. So it was like cold, and it was like, and at the end was like a giant, almost a 50-foot puppet that you were inside of. Which, that's what I was looking for. I'm looking for a good story. I'm looking for. I don't necessarily need the IP. I need a good story, and I need.
Well, it's pretty
cool elements.
inventive, right?
Yeah. So, okay. Speaking of inventive, before we get to previews for Tron, which has now been ruined, let's do It Came from Jerry's Basement. What do you got, Jerry?
Tonight we have Demons. Lamberto Bava.
Yeah, Lamberto Bava. So Bava is again, I'm on a Bava kick as well. Let me show your video.
Great
Cool
movie.
box. Yeah, this is one of those ones from the 80s where it's Italian. If you see it, you won't forget it. It's basically it's it started out as an anthology, but talk to me and tell me where we can get it.
So they go into a theater. There's a mask in the theater, like a mask prop. One of the girls starts messing with this mask prop. She gets a cut on her face. And that's all I'm saying. If you've seen it, you know. If you haven't, watch it. It's a great movie.
Yeah, so it's a horror movie.
The
Like
effects
that's
are great. The pace is perfect. There's not a dull moment in this film.
Yeah, it's very fast. It's what, an hour? It's an hour and 28
This is on
minutes.
Tubi.
That's the one thing I'm discovering, right? All these movies that are an hour and 28 minutes, it's perfect. You can get them in quick. Part of your whatever, your 31 for 31, but also you can also kind of like, they won't ruin your day. They're only an hour and 28 minutes. It's not that long. But the interesting thing here is it's set in a movie theater, which is cool. Always fun when you can have a movie theater experience, like, and then all hell breaks loose, of course.
I love the glowing eyes. Like that was
everybody going to see this old-timey horror film. Things do not go everybody's way. They of course released things.
If you like Italian horror, like this is one of those musts, though.
Yeah,
if you're into these guys, Bava, Lenzi, Fulci, Argento, this is one of them.
I was talking about this when I watched this, right?
Yes.
I've not gotten into. I'm a very like it's a blind spot for me on all sides, right? It's a blind spot for me. Foreign films are a blind spot for me just because I for whatever reason, I've seen great movies, not necessarily all movies that are American are great, and I've seen a lot of foreign films, but not as many as probably I should have seen. And I think Italian horror is one of the ones where I've kind of like, I've let it grow. But in watching the Bava thing, like, it's just brilliant stuff. Use of shadows.
Yeah.
The idea that they were ahead of their time on gore. There is a sequence in this movie. There is a sequence. This movie was made in 1960s. Black Sunday was made in 1960. There is a sequence where somebody comes, they put a mask on that has all kinds, like, first off, they do a thing where they're holding the mask and you follow the mask through, and then they put it on somebody, and the next scene you see is a guy walking towards her with a tree on a stick, and he just bangs it into her face, and it's just blood pouring out everywhere. And then there's also, like, I was reading up on it, there's a sequence where Asia the witch is being brought back, and some drops of blood fall into her eye holes, and then all of a sudden out of her inner eye holes, like, And they're like, how'd you do that effect? Oh, we did eggs. We did a couple of eggs. And it looks so fucking gross in black cinematography. But they're ahead of their time. Demons is one of those movies. Demons, not to be confused with Night of the Demons, which is also an 80s movie
which is also great.
A great 80s movie. It's not Angela. This is set in a movie theater, and it's Bava, and it's fun. What else? Okay. We have a new well, as we end there, let's get some comments and then we'll see where everybody's thinking. Let's see. England will be in the new horror Pinocchio's Cricket. I could see him being that. What was the movie you watched where they buried people alive and stuff a guy like a scarecrow? That was Twisted.
That was The Cursed. We watched that the other night.
Oh, okay, The Cursed.
The newer one, The Cursed, yeah.
Relatively new. There was one I watched last year. Oh shit, I can't think of it. But also had a scarecrow concept. Basically, all the people in town thought that they had to stop the scarecrow from killing everybody in town, and then they thought they would win a prize and leave town with a new car. What is it called? Oh, hold on.
Yeah, I'll have to put my 31 for 31 up on that one. I forgot to do that, but it was okay. I mean, it starts off back in time where these gypsies were wronged by people and they got murdered.
Were always wronged.
But then, of course, later on, somebody digs up some things that they shouldn't dig up, and it just
again, we need stupid people.
Spirals from there. It was kids that did it, but that's the movie she's talking about. Because there's a sequence where they basically cut a guy's feet off and his hands, and it was pretty awesome looking. Like the effects were pretty good. And she's like, "What are we watching?"
Oh, the one I'm thinking about is Sawtooth Jack. Right? Fuck, what's the name of the movie though? God damn it.
That sounds familiar.
Hold on. I hate having all this stuff in front of us and not being able to every once in a while not being able to think things through. Like, and I feel like it's an age thing. Like Dark Harvest.
Dark Harvest. I was just gonna say.
Also a great movie. Movie. Okay. Then Ashley, The Cursed. Dark Harvest is also a lot of fun. Really fun.
How about the Dark Harvest or the
Dark Harvest? Like the great thing about Dark Harvest is the kids who kill Sawtooth Jack every year. Again, the winner who kills Sawtooth Jack gets to leave the town with a new car and money.
Oh, The Dark Secret of Harvest Home. That's the one I'm thinking of.
That's way too many movies. Way too many movies to get to. Demons available on Tubi. It will change your life. Yes. It's one of those great horror films. Okay,
if you want to get a taste of the Italian.
Yeah, you know what? And Black Sunday is available also on Tubi. Mario Bava hits his first movie. And then you read up on it. I was reading up on it. Bava gets Black Sunday because he helped with some other things. And basically, Hammer makes the 58 Dracula. And the Italian horror studio where Bava works is like, we want movies too. So Bava's like, I have an idea. Want to let me direct? And then they get Barbara Steele and they get John Richardson and the rest is just fucking magic. And the movie's really good. Like, it's a good movie. It's not like the dialogue's cheesy and it's cheesy script, but everything else is everything is so technically well done. You know what I mean?
All the artwork on those old movies is great too. All the covers and
just the covers is like this. I put up two because I thought both were so striking. Awesome. Look at this one. This one has the original Demon's mask. And the guy's fucking like she has a guy that works for her that has got like a dragon emblazoned on his chest. But it's dark, it's fun, and they're easy movies to not Like, it's an hour and 20 minutes of your time where you're going to get a full story. Speaking of full stories,
Yes.
let's go to Twilight Zone. We may have a new champ, Jerry, for scumbag characters. My guys is the worst of the worst. Death's Head Revisited is the name of the episode that we're talking about tonight. It is episode 9, season 3. It's written by Rod Serling, directed by Don Medford. Opening narration, a little bit lengthy, so let's get to it. Mr. Schmidt recently arrived in a small Bavarian village, which lies 8 miles northwest of Munich, a picturesque, delightful little spot, one time known for its scenery, but more recently related to other events having to do with some of the less positive pursuits of man, human slaughter, torture, misery, and anguish. Mr. Schmidt, as we will soon perceive, has vested interest in the ruins of a concentration camp. For once, some 17 years ago, his name was Gunther Lutz. He held the rank of captain in the SS. He was a black uniform strutting animal whose function in life was to give pain. And like his colleagues of the time, he shared his one affliction with most common amongst that breed known as Nazis. He walked the earth without a heart. And now former SS Captain Lutz will revisit his old haunts, satisfied perhaps that all that is awaiting him is the ruins on the hill is an element of nostalgia. What he does not know, of course, is that a place like Dachau cannot exist only in Bavaria by its very nature. Well, actually, by its very nature, it must be one of the populated areas of the Twilight Zone. So, a couple things. Like, first off, one of the things that comes across as you're watching Rod Serling as he progresses, Rod Serling served in World War II. Rod Serling writes a lot of these episodes, Jerry, as a man who has seen horrors, right? The idea that man inflicting pain or suffering on other man. But you kind of know from the get-go, the first time we meet, he's checking into a hotel, and just the way he takes his gloves off,
right,
and puts the hat on and starts the cigarette, he so makes this woman.
You can already tell he's a jerk.
He's a dick.
Well,
from
she's
the
like, "You look familiar." I don't think so, madam.
Yeah, I think you're wrong. Like, he immediately scolds her, and
All right,
the way he takes his gloves off, like he takes them off and he puts the gloves on top of his hat, and it's like it's right out of a World War II movie. Like, just, and then it progresses. He goes to the camp, and as he's walking around the camp, Jerry, the reason
like reminiscing.
It's like he's going back to summer camp.
Like, oh, those were the days.
Yes, and this scene, he gets into one of the blocks, the prison blocks, and he's standing there and he's smiling to himself, and it cuts to him yelling at these people, "Up, little pigs! Up, little pigs! Time to get up! It's 0 degrees out. We're gonna do some calisthenics in the yard. Undress and get outside." And it's like, Jesus Christ. And it progresses. He eventually sees somebody that he recognizes, and this person, he's a caretaker. He's also one of the last. He's the last Jew he has murdered, right? He is the last person. As the troops are pulling up to Dachau, Captain Lutz, the last thing he does is kill this person. As the Americans are coming to get the people out of the camp, the last thing he does before he escapes and goes to Buenos Aires, is he kills this man. So this man becomes kind of like his person leading him around. He then informs Captain Lutz that he will be undergoing a trial. And the trial for his crimes against humanity. And he's like, who's gonna put me on trial for? There's nobody left. Goes into a room, and all the people he has murdered are standing there waiting for him. Like, and it becomes this surreal, dark episode and you know, he tries to escape. The door locks on its own.
I like how the door locks on its own. That little stop motion.
It's a stop motion, and it kind of goes back in, and it clicks into place, and he can't get out. And you know, it progresses.
Yeah, and he passes out, right? And he wakes up. He's like, "Oh, I was dreaming." And the guy comes back. It's like,
yeah, the guy comes back. Is like, "You weren't dreaming. It's all real." And like I said, like he walks around, the way he touches, like the actor, you know, the character is so vile. He's one of the most vile characters in just the sheer volume of like.
Well, even when he's talking to the ghost, I guess he's like, "Oh, you were begging," like he was like.
Yeah, it's Oscar. The name of the actor is Oscar Barregue Jr.
He did a good job with it.
He was fantastic. Like he is so violent, but he gets like it's almost, and you know, I'm not reading anything into a 1960s. It's almost a perverse sexual pleasure. He walks around, he touches touches the, you know, the hanging posts. He's vile. He is a vile character. And at the end of the episode, he's been dropped off for 2 hours. The end of the episode, he is on the ground and he's out. And like, they basically say, we're going to take him to a hospital.
It's insane.
He's gone in completely insane. And the doctor looks at the camera, or looks at the person who had driven him here, and says, "What makes a man go crazy in 2 hours?" And it's like,
he was fine when I brought him here.
He was fine when I brought him. And so it goes to the closing narration. There's an answer to the doctor's question. All the Dachau's must remain standing. The Dachau's, the Belsons, the Buchenwalds, the Auschwitzes, all of them. They must remain standing because they are a monument to a moment in time when some men decided to turn the earth into a graveyard. Into it, they shoveled all of their reason, their logic, their knowledge, but worst of all, their conscience. And the moment we forget this, the moment we cease to be haunted by its remembrance, then we become the grave diggers. Something to dwell on and to remember, not only in the Twilight Zone, but wherever men walk God's earth. A very strong episode, very powerful. And again, I think Captain Lutz, you know, I'm going back, like the medicine man guy, like some of the worst vile people we've run. He's just awful as a person, as a character. He's yelling at the ghosts like they did something wrong to him. And like just the gleam in his eye he gets when he's thinking about berating and belittling people, and you know, and then he finally remembers that the guy who's been leading him around is like, "I killed you," and he's like, "Yes, I almost made it. I almost made it to the Americans coming through, but just as they were breaching the gates, you shot me." And it's just like, it's like your failure as a human being is complete. It's a stunning episode.
I think so far, I'm liking this season the best.
I think season 3 has the most. They're well-rounded. The storytelling.
Yeah. I think if we're going to recommend that somebody start watching these, if they're new to it or reluctant, maybe they should start with season 3 and then go.
Yeah, because season 3, like there haven't been any misses. Like,
because it doesn't really matter what season you start at, because they're all different stories, right? So
easily accessible, but also you get the feeling that, you know, Serling wrote this. Richard Matheson's wrote some of them. You know, you get the feeling that they did the first 2 seasons. They got good at it. They got good at it, and now season 3 is like, oh, we can just push these out. And it like
I think last week they're in their stride. I think I was saying that. Like,
yeah, they're like it's like a baseball player or a football player, right?
Mm-hmm. Their year.
So a couple of things about the episode that also need to be talked about. There's an instrumental song in the beginning, Intro to Reality, from the 1990 Persistence of Time by Anthrax, that uses the Alfred Becker character. We did as we were told. We did as we were told. They just heard you offer the apology for all the monsters of our times. We did as we were told, which is, one of the, like, Becker is essentially his prosecutor. Like, I could have survived the Holocaust, but you, right at the end of it, you shot me, right? And so Anthrax uses, we did as we were told. They just heard the offer of the apology of the monsters of our times. That's on Belly of the Beast, which is also an Anthrax song that is told from Becker's point of view. So if you're an Anthrax fan, Anthrax likes the Twilight Zone. So also a critical response from a book called Serling, The Rise and Twilight of Television's Last Angry Man. Serling melted out nightmarish justice of a worse kind in Death Head Revisited. Serling's statement on the Holocaust, written in reaction to the ongoing Eichmann trial, in which a former Nazi played by Oscar Borrege on a nostalgic visit to Dachau is haunted and ultimately driven insane by the ghosts of inmates he had killed there during the war. So not only is Serling come from the war where he's had a kind of a brutal showing in the war, he's watching things expand out after the war, like the Eichmann trial and all the things that the Nazis did coming out after the fact. And this is an episode that is just, it's stellar. And it's just one of those things.
It's like, it's so good when you see that actor, they're probably like, there's that jerk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would imagine Oscar
In real life.
Borrege
No, I'm not really like that.
I'm not like that at all. But all the actors in the episode are all Austrian-born actors. So that's another thing that kind of like the interesting thing. Like Serling has so many good points, like about humanity and life. But the other thing is he plays the game like you're supposed to, right? So putting Austrian actors in and putting Jewish descendants in, he was so ahead of his time. And like, if he were in this time, I feel like he'd be called woke, because he has all the same things going on, where he's asking questions that nobody wants asked, right? And making people, holding up a mirror to the human race is what the Twilight Zone is all about. Like, sometimes we get good people and sometimes we get bad people, right? Sometimes we get the guy who became Santa, and sometimes we get this fucking guy who reveled in human suffering. And it's just, again, the actor, like the way he touches the wood is just, it's slimy.
And next week, it's almost just the opposite.
Yeah, next week we get something called The Midnight Sun, which is another really good episode
good
about the Earth orbit, essentially, watching society kind of fall apart as the Earth kind of falls into the sun.
Yeah.
20 minutes of midnight, 110 degrees. We'll see how people react to that. Not going to go well, Jerry. Or maybe it's going to go well. Maybe, like, I think the interesting thing about Serling in season 3 is he delivers a gut shot. We're like, oh, my spleen hurts. And then the next week, sometimes he comes back with like something where it's like, okay, we did something serious last week. I'm going to give you a little sci-fi, a little horror that's not going to ruin you as a person. Like, because this is brutal stuff. Like,
yep.
And it's just, it's insanely well done. The perverse pleasure, like, I don't know that, like, I think we get it later in things, right? With the perverse pleasure of like the Germans, like the key one I was thinking about when watching this episode, right? Schindler's List, Eamon Geth, right? Based on a real guy. Eamon Geth from Schindler's List, played by Ray Fiennes, right?
Yeah.
Perverse pleasure in, sitting on his porch with a high-powered rifle, watching people run from one end of the courtyard to the other as he's picking people off. It's similar to Captain Lutz. But so next week we get The Midnight Sun on our journey through the Twilight Zone. We appreciate that. Everybody joining us on this. I also want to let everybody know before we, of course, Tron opens on Thursday. Rich told us all about it. We're still going to go see it. Also, if you have an Amazon account, I'm going to let you in on something. If you have an Amazon account and you want to see both halves of Wicked together, or to see the movie early on the 8th, Wednesday the 8th at 9 a.m. or 12 p.m., one or the other. It might be 9 a.m. California time, so 12 p.m. Tickets go on sale for an Amazon Prime screening of Wicked for Good, just like Superman. So Superman had that big screening that happened on Tuesday. Everybody got to see a little bit early. Buzz was great. Amazon is doing the same thing. So if you have an Amazon Prime and you have a Wicked fan in your family and they want to see For Good early before everybody else sees it on Thursday or of that week, that screening goes on sale tomorrow. And from what I've seen, it's going to sell out fast. The Superman show sold out so fast, like within hours of the tickets going on sale. Okay, what do you got going on, Jerry? What's Slapjaw got going on before we get out of here for tonight?
October 19th on a Sunday, V-Spot benefit show for a great friend of ours. Then we're doing Halloween at the Moon Ballroom.
Nice.
That's in Dixon City. That's actually next to Idle Hour, the hotel next to Idle Hour. And then we're playing there again December 5th, Toys for Tots.
Nice. Got a lot of good shows coming up. You can find me, JW Movie Guy, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those places. And you can keep track of 31 for 31. We're 7 in. It will be 7 by the end of the night tonight. No, we're 7 in now.
Yeah, I think I've caught up. I just have to write up one.
It'll be 8 by tomorrow morning, and it'll be Don't Look Now to give it away what the next one is. And then I have a couple I haven't seen, Jerry, that are like I don't want people to judge me, but I've never seen the original Wicker Man. I think that's going to be on the list.
Ooh, I had that on VHS.
I've never seen
an interesting one.
Oh shit! What's the name of the movie? Eyes of the Soul, or it's a French movie about a father who takes people's faces for his daughter who was in an accident. So those are my next two classic ones. I don't know what I'm gonna do for the new ones, but Don't Look Now tonight because I did Good Boy today. So we'll see everybody next week. Also, Generation Movie on Monday. 1985 vampire movie.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we got big things coming this weekend.
Some of us know what that is.
This guy, yeah, some of us, if we're smart.
Yes.
World premiere Thursday, October 9th, 10
This
p.m.
Thursday.
Riffing with John Dugan. Special guests, Terry Gerald. Special guest, Nick Strawn, very famous effects artist, very famous filmmaker. Joe Ridgley running the events. Everything's going well. And then Return of the Indie Brigade coming up in November. So super excited about that. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you like our network, you like our channel, we're growing. Facebook, Instagram, all those places. Find us, like us, subscribe. Hope to hear from you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Everybody have a great night. And go watch some horror movies. It's spooky season. Bye.
31 for 31.